Hello, and welcome to my digital bonsai tree. I guess this is the eulogy for my digital bonsai tree in its first incarnation when I tried this out like a good 9 months ago or so. This should be the only video that I foresee heavily using Facecam. Uh, I just wanted to explain myself. Now, before I even started making those internet videos for, I guess, my own archival purposes or I don't know, why does someone point a camera at themselves and then upload it to the internet? Well, I try to explain that in this video that I recorded 9 months ago. Let's listen to myself.
Breathe in. Hello, my name is KirbyCon. Welcome to my digital bonsai tree. This video is going to be a little bit of a side video, a little bit less in character. This is just where I want to post up what this project is supposed to be and give you a little bit of a framework for it. This is going to be the first series that I upload on over to YouTube. Factorio, my digital bonsai tree. I want to thank a couple of people that inspired me on to do this. First of all, with Raving Loon, who inspired me to record myself playing video games, and also the first person to have introduced me to Factorio. His series on Point 14 is fantastic. In addition to Catherine of Sky, community manager for the Factorio Steam group, I believe, and she is a just prolific content creator, and gives this game a really nice feeling, like sewing. Feels nice, like sewing. I also want to give a shout out to Nilaus and his methodical style, and Stijo for breaking through the boundaries of using mods in order to enhance the user experience and the viewer experience. When he explained that it just makes for something better to watch, made a lot of sense. Let's go ahead and go through my list of mods.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw other people on the internet record themselves and then upload it on up to YouTube. Figured, spend a lot of time watching it. Might as well do it. Yeah, I did it for about like 4 hours and it was okay. It was fun. It was nice explaining my thought process. Yeah.
First of all, Roomba viewer lighting boost. Shout out to Roomba. Dude makes videos on the internet, and this right here allows the game to be visible on lower graphical settings during the nighttime. Nighttime is fantastic when you're playing by yourself, when you're trying to showcase this off. Base mod, this is not a thing to worry about. This is what comes with the games. I like big bags, and I cannot lie. This mod right here allows me to scale up my inventory at a pace that is quicker than the vanilla game using research. But it still gates things in a way that gives a nice sort of sense of progression. Bottleneck and bottleneck logistics, those are going to be the little circles that you see on the factories when I explain inputs, shortages, and output blockages. This just really helps identify what is going on in your factory. Hell mod is bizarre. It is a French mod that basically acts as an Excel spreadsheet within the game client. Loader redo. Don't want to explain that until I explain warehouse, which gives you 9x9 boxes with a gigantic storage space. There is talk on the community about how buffers are bad and evil, but I don't know. As a supply junkie myself, I feel like there is a
They are not. Play this game any way you would like to play.
time and place for them. The thing about warehouses is that they don't really work what I want them to do unless I also have loaders, and that is something more for the Bob's mods, the Angels mods, super advanced things. It's kind of like bringing a sledgehammer to hit a nail when I put it into a vanilla game, but hopefully I can turn it into something that looks cool. Resource spawner overhaul. This allows the map to be a little bit more spacious, give it a more grand sort of feeling, and changes up the way that ores and all other things.
Right now, resource spawner overhaul. It made nice for a specific type of playstyle that I saw before, but the more that I'm thinking about it, the more I just, I guess I just didn't enjoy that specific type of playstyle.
End up getting generated to the world squeak through just makes it so that you as a viewer don't have to watch me get caught up on things. Upgrade planner and builder is a fantastically easier way to increase the throughput. Upgrading your belts is an experience in Factorio that everyone should experience once, but they do not need to experience it more than that. And Yarm adds a little tooltip and a tracker for the amount of ore that is inside of a thing. All of these.
Quick note on Yarm, I have attempted for 250 hours of gameplay to utilize it. Actually, like, gave it a good try. And the way that I approach mines, it just doesn't really work how I want it to.
With the exception of the usability mods like the light, bags, the bottleneck, a lot of these will be their own separate sort of like off to the side things. And I just wanted to address it because it's going to be on the research menu, and people who have played this game before are going to be curious about this. And people who haven't played this game before, well, if they see somebody else's video or they decide to get their own thing, they should know that this is not quite the fresh out of the box experience. I'm going to be generating the map for this series, and I just want to go over some of the settings that I have up on here. Basically, I kind of keep the preset on the preset. The frequency, size, and richness settings affect a couple of different things. Frequency is more of how often these sort of deposits pop up throughout the world. Specifically for iron, copper, ore, stone, coal, all of these things, they happen sparsely throughout the world, and you get to set sort of the density of these pockets. Think of it as a scatter plot. Want to have a lot of scatter plots, go ahead and place that onto very high. Want to have a lot of space in between these different things, set them on over to low. I'm going to set these on over to low, gives me some space to breathe. Most importantly, when it comes to the game flow, it allows me to have basically one iron deposit or one copper deposit that I do not have to train in. And that helps the game flow for me in that sort of a way. The size is the geographical space that each deposit takes up. Now, what this means in real mechanical terms is that the higher the setting is, the more each of these the more physical miners are going to be used to cover up these deposits. If you want to set them to very small, you will need very, very few, 10, 20 miners to fill up these deposits. Very big. That allows you to have more throughput and allows your mining deposits to basically mine ore at a quicker speed because there are more machines building them. I'm going to set this to very big on most items. I do like having a lot of water around. One of the tricks is that water will overlap onto a lot of these different things. That's kind of cool. So if you end up having like a big old sea world, copper ore would be under the sea, but it doesn't do you any good because there's no interaction with the sea. Richness, as opposed to size, is going to be the amount of ore within each individual square. So what this means in real actual terms is when you put down a mining depot, put down a mining operation, it is going to last a lot longer on very good, and if you put it onto very poor, it is going to dry up extremely quickly. Now, that is kind of fun for some of those more like busy sort of games, but I just want this to be a nice little lackadaisical ride throughout this little tree. Enemy bases, I have set these to be smaller and lower, very low, small, poor. Basically, I want the biters to be there, but I do not feel the need to have them as a constant threat. Breaks up my chill, man. Starting area is going to be set at very big, and that affects when ore deposits start showing up, how much free space you have before biters spawn, and it is best described as a difficulty setting. If you put it up onto very small, you're going to have the enemy biters pop up onto your doorstep very, very quickly, like as soon as you set up Steam. You put it onto very big, you are not going to have to worry about biters until you have already developed solutions for those biters. And that is what I'm looking for. Quick thing with all of this pollution information, I did set minimum damage to trees. It was very high because I enjoy seeing trees throughout my warehouse, and I don't like seeing those trees die. Now, these are going to die. Everything dies. But this at least extends the amount of time that they're nice and green, I believe, by quite a bit. I don't know what any of these other things are. I'm like, real talk, it's just a little bit too much for me. Evolution, I want to crank this down a little bit because I will have a lot of dead time in between recordings, and I'd rather not the larger biters that can actually take down walls come at me. When it comes to enemy expansion, one of the things that I enjoy doing is I never want to turn off expansion 100% completely, but I also do not want to really spend more than 1 or 2 passes to clear out a wilderness area. So I'm going to set this as pretty much every 25 minutes is when a new biter colony is going to spawn, which is far, far slower than the default rate. Maximum, like, if nothing happens within 60 minutes, yeah, I don't want something to happen. Recipe difficulty, I have no desire. Captain Disguise is doing a expensive recipes sort of run through right now, and just looking at that feels painful. And I mean, she has experience as all of that time, but I am not man enough to. As far as mod settings go, yep, everything's okay on there. And everything is okay on here. Purple. Alright, and this is where we fly. Allow the game to generate its own world.
And that was where it started, and that was fun. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna try it again. 9 months has been a long time for this game, and 9 months has been a long time for me, and I have become a crazy man who has gone all in. Because allow me to show you what my mod list is right now. I am doing an Angels Bob's super stacked bonanza, and I've been enjoying it. It's been a nice little puzzle to solve, nice little Zen garden to break through, nice little bonsai tree to just shape and watch grow. Now, I mean, like with every hobby, sometimes the first time that you take a crack at it, it doesn't quite stick, and not every plant is going to make it, but the death of one project should not be the death of all projects. So I do thank you for watching that eulogy of the first I guess, series, self audio logs, recordings, crazy ramblings broadcasted to your phone. Appreciate the view. Let us go through the mods. Afraid of the Dark has been updated to this, and it's nice. It still seems a little bit too dark. I guess I should update it. I don't know. But ore silos, angels, add-ons, these are what I have available. Now, this mod pack portion where it's just like the bobs, adjustables, the things where you see those two words, shoutouts to Nilaus. I have piggybacked off of his mod list, added my own, trimmed off one or two things that I didn't quite agree with, and that is a perfectly acceptable way to approach this video game. And the way to go about it is, I personally grabbed it off of a YouTuber. I want to upload some sort of Google Doc, but I'm probably not. This idea is sufficient. But for the things that I added myself, autofill, that is not standard. It is a quality of life mod, and it speeds up the early game. Bottleneck is still there. It just allows you at a glance to see if a machine is working or if it is not working. Crafting speed research. I found out that I spend a lot of time just building stuff. It's that idle incremental clicker video game experience. You just need to reach all optimization by clicking on a button every now and again. And crafting speed is a viable way of, just creating some things if you don't have the infrastructure set up yet. Even distribution is just a nice little way to get rid of items in your inventory. FNEI is a mod that I consider vital in any sort of playthrough. There's also what is it really used for, but basically anything that shows you the recipes as they are in your particular game, it's important to have so that you understand what widgets you're fitting into what things and at what speed, so that you can math out what your correct answer is. Now, if you want the optimal correct answer, you must dehumanize yourself and face to hell mod. It does a lot of the math for you without explaining too much about how to get there. Logistics train network, it's there. I hope to use it, but that is a long time from now. Laser beam turrets, that sounds like it's fun. Loader redo, that is important. Long reach research has replaced the big bags mod. Now, I still like big bags, and I cannot lie. But long reach research has that functionality on in there, in addition to increasing the range that your character can manipulate things at a pretty nice natural progression based on research. And it's nice. Nanobots, early bots, a lot of people use them. I have a different mod that just equips me with modular armor and 20 robots at the start, and that is what I've been leaning on, though I do like to have the option open. Nixie tubes allow you to see a number from the map view, from the area view. Someday I will show it off. Resource spawner overhaul, it's still there, it's still standard. I've gotten over my views on it based on the last time you saw a video. The Shiny Bob graphics and the Shiny Angels graphics, those are nice. I don't know what they are supposed to look like, but this is what they're going to look like because of these two things, I think. Squeak Through allows you to move through pipes and other such things. Text plates allow me to write vulgarity at a moment's notice. Just silly words. And I'm not exactly sure what Vehicle Snap does, but it seems nice. And these are the mods that I have running for the current Digital Bonsai Tree game. Ah, yes. Bob start. Bot start. That is what I am using to allow myself to craft things, but not by hand from the very start, because I like chilling out. I like being able to say no sometimes. Okay. From there, we are going to go into play. The current version is 16 point something or another. The game always keeps on getting more. Let's go ahead and press new game. Peaceful mode has been added, and I really do enjoy the inclusion of this because the way that I have my settings set up is that biters are there as a far more complicated rock. It is a thing that must be dealt with if you want to build something nearby, but it is not going to interact with you the same way that you interact with it. So I'm going to enjoy that. I don't know what this button does, but I'm going to press it. Let's see here. Angel's Bob's Mods adds so many more things. An incredible amount of items. And I'm going to explain all of these settings right here, right now, because that is what you clicked on, internet, my friend. Cole is doing its thing. Honestly, for my test game, I set everything on over to normal, and I enjoyed it. I want to set things to be richer, but less big, because the way that Bob's Angels goes with mining in particular, or these sorts of resources, is that you do not need a lot at the same time, but you do need a nice variety and a large amount. Saying that out loud, I feel less sure of what my words mean. But anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and say, coal is actually very important, so I'm going to keep that as relatively frequent. Bobmonium is the thing that makes tin, rubite is the thing that makes crotinium, and givolite are the more advanced. It's sapphirite and stereotype are the more normal. Okay, yeah, I'm feeling pretty okay with that. Let's go on over to terrain settings, and I do enjoy a far more sand and deserts. But I want my grass. I do want water to be somewhat regular. Let's do more instances of water, but less big overall. Enemy bases are going to be set to low. Very small. And poor. And I'm going to turn off cliffs, period. It creates natural obstacles that must be dealt with in the blue science era. But the way that I am going to play Angel's Bob's Mod is that I am not going to get to the blue science era anytime soon. So I'm going to sidestep that entire gameplay mechanic. We'll go on to the advanced settings. My knowledge of these numbers have not really increased at all, but because everything is on peaceful, I'm just going to disable pollution. I may regret this in the future, but I am not going to disable evolution, period. But I am going to jack it all the way down and see what happens when the slider is on over in this direction. Enemy expansion is going to be turned off completely. Well, yes. Alright, we're going to go into the mod settings now. This is far bigger than the previous, and this is the first time that I have seen it in a matter of months since I started up my test recordings. So, enable artifacts from aliens, I don't know what that means. These are very complicated and I've never messed with them. Adjustable inserters are good. That makes inserters more flexible. Even distribution, that's going to be good. Ooh, I can auto-trash stuff early. Nice. Long-range research. Why would I not want that? I don't think I need long pickup. If long lube pickup is enabled, long lube. Oh, okay. Bob's ores, amethyst, diamond, ruby. These are very complicated numbers. Gems ore, gold ore. Nice. I suppose you can set up patches of these things to spawn at some point. Very bizarre. Make all ores infinite. Well. Okay, well that was a fun thing to look at. Bob's Tech Science Pack color updates. This is, if you are familiar with Factorio, then this is going to destroy your mind very quickly, as all of the colors have been set to somebody else's vision of what progression should look like. So, in regular Factorio, it's yellow, red, blue. For the belts, and for the machines themselves, like the order goes gray, then blue, then yellow, and what Bob's Tech and the other thing does is try and standardize it so that the lowest tier of everything, because tiers, there have been a lot of them added because of these mod packs. Lowest tier is going to be gray, second tier is going to be yellow, that's kind of like baseline, then third tier is going to be red, fourth tier is going to be I've not made it up to that point. So, let's keep on going. Enable vehicle grids. That allows us to do things with, like, crawlers and all of that. I have no idea what the battery does. Cheaper steel is nice. This is the important one. Enable groundwater boring recipes. Otherwise, a building that helps you not have to look for water, which, as a fan of deserts, I don't want to look for water. Allows me to do a lot more things. We're going to turn that off. The new chemical plants. Yeah, add all of these new buildings. They're great. They're fantastic. I'm going to make it so that belts require the previous tiers, but inserters do not require their previous tiers. Actually, no. During my test recording, I have found that the complexity of these items is such that each tier requires its own supply chain. So I feel like it is complicated enough to figure out a supply chain for a tier, rather than figure out a supply chain for a tier and then staple on every single previous tier's supply chain to that factory, if that makes sense. I do have the transfer belt overhaul on and the speed overhaul on. Got pipe distances, that's cool. I'm gonna turn off robot. Well, robots are complicated enough and they can pick each other up that I don't mind that requiring the previous tier. New mining drills, new axes, large area mining drills, water mining pump jacks. All of this is cool. You know what? No, I am not going to mess with that. Bob's modules. Yeah, let's press this button, see what happens in about a year. That is interesting. know why you would hide recipes. Now, what should I make as infinite? You know what? I do like the idea of infinite. So we will go for infinite sapphirite, infinite givelite, infinite stereotype, infinite cretinium, infinite rubite, infinite bobmonium. Yes. I do not want to add a fluid requirement for that. Yes. Okay, and I don't know what those two buttons mean. Alright, that was just the startup. We still have more tabs. Thank you for bearing with me. Bottleneck signals per tick. Style for reading. Is there more? Oh, wow. That's much more modular. I'm never going to look at those. Hell mod. What does this mean? What does it mean? Alright, this seems nice. Let's go ahead and add a 5 to these. Because I don't quite know what this does. Okay. Oh no, vanilla without my bonus is 6, so let's turn this up to 10. Let's turn this up to 10. Yeah, that one seems fine for 5. We will keep this here. And we will keep this at 2. Alright, these are nanobot behaviors. Nano power armor equipment. No. Yep. Yep. Okay. That is fine. I do not want that there, but I do want these two here. Okay, so this is going to be set to 5. Okay, and then the perp layer. I need slightly more time than that. Okay. Okay. What is this? Oh, I see. Shift C. No. Yes. Ah, okay, so this can go into further detail. Okay. We apply these mod settings, we press the button, and it has been broken. Okay. Well, while this is loading, I do want to thank you for joining me. And I do wish you have a good day. Goodbye.